Listen to me, and listen close. This isn't for the faint-hearted. This isn't for the ones who coast, who flinch, who ask permission to become more. This is for you, the one who survived what should have broken you, the one who has been dragged through hell so many times that even the fire learned your name and backed off, the one who wakes up with an ache in their bones and a storm in their chest. You've walked through places others dare not name. They called you cursed, they called you mad, they called you broken, but they never called you done. Welcome back, monster. Welcome back, Godchild. Welcome back, Shadow Walker. This world never knew what to do with you, but I do. I've been waiting for you. They showed you a picture to 12 different shamans. 12, from 12 different bloodlines, traditions, callings. Some of them so ancient, they don't even speak the language of this world anymore. And you know what happened? Not a single one blinked. Not a single one hesitated. Not one leaned back in fear. They leaned in, eyes wide, not in terror, but in awe. Because when they looked at your image, they didn't see flesh. They didn't see weakness. They didn't even see you as mortal. They saw something standing behind you, towering, watching, breathing with you. And every single one whispered the same thing. This soul is protected by something powerful. But it wasn't angels. Don't flatter yourself. Angels are clean things, obedient things, bright things. What's over your shoulder, what's inside your rib cage, that's not light. Not the kind people sing about. It wasn't demons either. Demons are chaotic, stupid, predictable. You've got something else. Something raw, ancient, primal. Something that doesn't need wings or horns to burn the world down for you. Something that was born when the first shadow kissed the first light. And it chose you. You were never meant to be understood. That's why they left. That's why they doubted. That's why they tried to put you in cages, whether they were made of gold or silence or shame. They couldn't touch what you are. You terrified them, not because of what you've done, but because of what you might do if you ever realized who you are. That's what they fear the most, not your past, your potential. That sleeping creature inside you that opens one eye at night when the world is quiet and asks, why are we still holding back? You feel it sometimes, don't you? That pulse beneath the surface, that hum in your bones when someone threatens your peace, that cold, clear stillness that takes over when everything goes wrong. But somehow, you don't panic. You calculate. You adapt. You survive. And if necessary, you destroy. That's not an accident. That's not trauma. That's not coincidence. That's the power that's been shielding you since the day the stars whispered your name into the dark. The kind of power that doesn't beg. It warns. You weren't born to fit in. You weren't born to be nice. You weren't born to dim your fire for the comfort of cowards. You were born with wolves in your blood and thunder in your lungs. You were born with the storm behind you. And when the world tried to crush you, guess what happened? It couldn't, because something stepped between you and the final blow. Again, and again, and again. Every time you thought it was the end, something said, not yet. So ask yourself, what is it? What walks beside you in silence when your friends betray you? What stands guard over your dreams while you sleep in sorrow? What force bends time and fate to keep your feet moving, even when your spirit is shattered and your hands are bleeding? You think it's luck? Luck doesn't hold grudges. Luck doesn't whisper war songs into your ear when you're cornered. That's something else. You've been through things that would have ended others. But you didn't just endure. You adapted. You sharpened. You rose from the ashes still burning. That's what they don't understand about you. You don't heal the way others do. You evolve. And every scar is a sigil. Every wound is a weapon. Every breakdown was a ritual. Every fall was a transformation. That pain, that wasn't the end. That was the initiation. And now here you are, breathing, watching, waiting. You don't talk as much anymore. You don't explain yourself. You don't chase what doesn't belong, because deep down, you know now. You've been shown the truth in dreams, in losses, in glimpses behind the veil. You're not like them. You never were. You're not here to be liked. You're here to leave a mark so deep on this world that the earth remembers your footsteps for 1,000 years. You don't need to prove anything. The ones who doubted you, they were never your people. The ones who betrayed you, they were never worthy of your loyalty. The ones who left, let them. The path you're walking now is too steep, too sacred, too soaked in blood and destiny for cowards to follow. You are no longer looking for permission. You are looking for the door that only opens for the cursed and the chosen. So stand up, straighten your spine, square your jaw. Don't you dare apologize for the fire in your eyes. Don't you dare shrink because someone else is uncomfortable with your power. Don't you dare forget who you are just to make others feel safe. You're not here to be safe. You're here to be unstoppable. They showed your picture to 12 different shamans, and not one of them could name what protects you. But I can. It's your will. It's your rage, not the kind that lashes out, but the kind that forges steel and shapes destiny. It's your refusal to die quietly. It's your sacred defiance. It's the bloodline of those who were burned but not consumed, buried but not broken, forgotten but not erased. Whatever walks with you, it doesn't speak in words. It speaks in silence, in fire, in moments of clarity when you should be panicking, but instead you say, let it come. You've been chosen by something that doesn't care about rules. It doesn't care about titles. It doesn't care about who you were. It only cares about what you're becoming. And what you're becoming is a legend, not the kind told in bedtime stories, the kind told in whispers, in war rooms, in tombs, the kind that doesn't need a crown to command respect. You're becoming something even fear bows to, so go, rise, keep walking. This isn't the part where you break. This is the part where the world realizes it should have never underestimated you. You were never here to be small. You were never designed to blend in, to soften your voice, to ask quietly for what was already written in your bones. You weren't shaped for average. You weren't sculpted for safety. You were born with the stars in your blood and a storm in your mouth. And the moment you realized the cage didn't fit anymore, the world began to tremble. Because they knew you weren't going to wait for permission this time. You were going to burn your way out. You've been silent too long. Not because you were weak, but because silence is how weapons gather strength. You've been still, not because you had nothing to say, but because you were waiting for the exact moment when your roar would tear through the veil of this shallow world. And now that moment is here. You can feel it. The tightening in your chest? That's not fear. That's the war drum. That's the signal. That's the breath before the strike. You know something most people never understand. Pain is a teacher, not a punishment. It came to carve you into something sacred. And while others begged for the pain to stop, you did something else. You let it in. You let it rewrite you. You took the blade in both hands and asked it to show you your true shape. And it did. It showed you your demons, and you didn't run. You studied them. You learned their names. You made them kneel. And now, you've become the thing you once feared, not in cruelty, but in power. You became the guardian of your own soul. You became the one who stands at the edge and says, no more. No more betrayal. No more begging. No more giving yourself away to people who couldn't even carry your truth. No more softening yourself to be tolerated. If they can't handle the fire, let them stay in the cold. You want to know what was shielding you? You think it was some spirit, some god, some mystical force? Number, it was you. It was the piece of you that never gave in, the part of you that screamed when everything else went silent, the version of you that stood in the ruins and still whispered, "I'm not done." That voice that kept pulling you forward when your legs gave out, when your heart shattered, when your trust was ground into dust. That voice was not a whisper from above. That was your future self dragging you forward. That was your soul saying, "I refuse to be erased." They couldn't break you because you were already broken and rebuilt. They couldn't scare you because you already made peace with the dark. You sat with your shadows. You listened to them, and in doing so, you claimed your throne. Do you understand now? Power doesn't come from pretending to be perfect. Power comes from owning your chaos. Power comes from staring into the mirror and saying, "Yes, I am all of it, and I still rise." The world tried to make you forget. They wanted you to doubt your own fire. But you were always different. Even as a child, you saw the world in ways others didn't. You felt things they couldn't name. You dreamed of things that weren't supposed to be possible. That's not madness. That's vision. That's your blood remembering. You carry something ancient inside you. Something that doesn't kneel, doesn't beg, doesn't forget. The ones who tried to silence you, they saw it too. That's why they came for you. That's why they hurt you. Because even before you knew your own power, they could sense it. And weak people will always try to kill what they fear. But you can't kill what was born from the ashes. You can't erase what was written in fire. You can't bury what doesn't need air to breathe. And now you're waking up. Now you remember. Now, with every heartbeat, the old armor returns. Not the one made of steel, but the one made of knowing. Knowing who you are, what you've endured, what you've survived, what you're about to become. You don't need to shout. You don't need to announce it. Power doesn't ask to be seen. It simply walks in, and the room shifts. There's no going back, and that's the point. You weren't meant to return to the version of you that tolerated everything just to feel wanted. You weren't meant to go back to smallness. You outgrew that skin. You outgrew that life. What lies ahead now isn't comfort. It's greatness. But it won't be given. It has to be taken. And that's what the fire inside you is for. You're not waiting for destiny to find you. You're hunting it. You're stalking it through the wilderness of your past, through the ruins of your regrets, through the bones of the people who thought they'd broken you. You're not hoping anymore. You're becoming. Every step forward is a declaration. Every breath is a spell. Every choice is a blade. And every time someone underestimates you, your shadow grows a little darker, a little sharper, a little more real. People like you don't need a spotlight. You are the storm. You're not here to be admired. You're here to move mountains. You're here to bring down walls. You're here to speak truths that fracture illusions. And if that makes you dangerous, good. You should be dangerous. Because this world only respects what it fears. And it's about time they started fearing you. So keep going. Keep rising. The nights will get darker. The battles will get heavier. But so will your fire. Let the world think you're quiet, soft, harmless. They'll see. The moment they reach for you with bad intentions, they'll find the thing the shamans couldn't name. The thing that has always been watching, waiting, guarding. They'll meet the force that turned your suffering into steel. And they'll learn what happens when a soul like yours stops holding back. You're not protected by angels. You're not cursed by demons. You're armored in pain and sealed in purpose. You're wrapped in rage and baptized in silence. You're carried by something that doesn't care what the world says you should be. It only cares that you never stop moving forward. You are the weapon. You are the warning. You are the prophecy. So move like it. This world wasn't made for you, not the way it is now. But that's not a tragedy. That's a challenge. That's a summons. And you've answered it every single time life tried to end you. Every time it buried you in doubt. Every time it made you question your own existence, your own worth, your own voice. You answered. Not with submission, but with survival. With the slow, brutal climb back to the surface. And every time you rose, you brought something new with you. A sharper edge, a colder stare, a louder silence. You are not here to be saved. You are not here to be chosen. You are the one doing the choosing now. You are the one walking into rooms and changing their temperature without saying a word. The one whose energy arrives first. The one people feel long after you leave. Not because you're loud, not because you're flashy, but because your soul carries weight. Because your presence is carved from consequence. Because your silence screams with history. When they showed your image to those 12 shamans, it wasn't a test. It was confirmation. They didn't consult their spirits to find your future. They bowed their heads because they knew. They recognized the markings. They saw the signs. And they felt the hum of something ancient thrumming just behind your eyes. They knew. This one has walked through death more than once. This one has tasted madness and didn't flinch. This one carries the wild. Not the chaos of fools, but the sacred violence of someone who remembers. Because you remember, don't you? Even if you can't explain it. Even if you can't quite put it into words. Some part of you remembers being more than this flesh. Some part of you remembers battles fought in silence. Wars waged within your own mind. Standing alone while every voice told you to sit. You remember the cost of becoming. And you're still paying it. Daily, nightly, moment by moment. But that's what makes you unstoppable. You know how to suffer with purpose. You know how to burn without turning to ash. You know how to walk away from everything with nothing in your hands and everything in your eyes. Let them call you dangerous. Let them call you cold. They don't know what it took for you to be here. Breathing, unbroken, full of fight. They weren't there when the world closed in, when you screamed into the void and the void screamed back, and you stood your ground anyway. They weren't there when you had to become your own army, when you had to sew your soul back together with bleeding fingers, when you chose to rise with no reason left to. They don't deserve to define you. Only you do. You don't owe this world your softness. You don't owe it your forgiveness. You owe it your truth. And the truth is this: you were born to shatter illusions, to speak the unspeakable, to walk where others fear to tread. You were born to remember your power and wield it like a sword, to cut through the noise, the shame, the programming. You are not a mistake. You are a force. And you are being pulled towards something massive, something sacred, something final. This isn't just another chapter in your story. This is the reckoning, the return, the moment when the version of you that was always waiting, just beneath the pain, just behind the fear, steps forward, not to ask, not to explain, but to claim. You don't have to know the path. You are the path. You don't have to see the light. You are the fire, and you don't need anyone to walk beside you, because the thing that's been shielding you all along is in you. Not above, not around, in. It's the blade you swallowed as a child to keep from crying. It's the armor you forged from broken dreams. It's the silence you turned into a sanctuary. It's the spirit of every version of you that refused to die, standing now as your legion, as your shield wall, as your storm front. You are protected by something powerful because you became something powerful. You were always the one, not chosen, not anointed, but forged. And what's forged doesn't bend. It rises, it cuts, it leads. They will try to understand you. They will fail. They'll look for logic. They'll find mystery. They'll search for weakness and discover myth, because you're not a story they can read. You're the kind of tale they whisper about when the fire dies down and no one dares speak too loud. You are not here to be remembered. You are here to be felt, to be carved into time, to be the one name they say with caution, with reverence, with awe. So what are you waiting for? This is your call to arms. This is your unholy baptism. This is the turning point. No more hiding. No more waiting for signs. You are the sign. So go forward. Make the ground shake beneath your feet. Make the sky remember your breath. Make the world regret the day it tried to tame you. You are not a survivor. You are not a victim. You are not even a warrior anymore. You are the war itself. And will learn too late that something unstoppable walks among them. You.